Me and a deaf friend went on a walk to kill boredom. We were vaguely aware of the information about a travel restriction during that period, but because we could see some people moving around, we questioned why we should sit indoors all day. We decided to go for a walk. And so we went boldly. We drew suspicious gazes and noticed ominous signs, but kept ignoring and moving. However, before long, we saw some people run for cover, but as we couldn't find for certainty what was happening, we kept moving. When we reached the junction, we spotted soldiers some meters away. I quickly called my friend's attention, pleading that we turn back, but he urged on with manful boldness. We kept on, but I soon took heels out of fright, leaving him behind. Unknown to me, he was shot on the leg. I felt pained seeing the gunshot injury, even as I recalled warning him of unavoidable danger, which he ignored with a reckless boldness. He went back to hospital, where it was recommended to amputate the leg. He initially declined. Over time, he slowly recovered, but life never returned to normal.
I still recall my own personal experience moving with family from Kano to Lagos when I was much younger. We lived peacefully in Kano until religious tensions resulted in conflict between Christians and Muslims. In the family, myself and my mother are deaf. My younger brother is hearing. People who heard earlier fled their home. But because we heard late, we stayed indoors, shutting doors, gates. We hid in the fridge. The attackers were armed with bows, arrows, stones, and other dangerous weapons. Our house was tear-gassed, the attackers thinking we'd run out. But thank God we managed the situation with cold water. We hid indoors for 3 days until a kind Hausa neighbor noticed our presence. He took us into a house and helped plan our escape by train at night. That was how we escaped being killed and fled Kano to Lagos. back in 1992. If not for the neighbor who informed us, we might not have survived the situation. That is how vulnerable persons with disabilities are in terms of sensing escaping danger. I'm referring especially to deaf persons. In dangerous emergencies, a deaf person can unknowingly walk into the middle of the danger. Government's response measures aren't inclusive on persons with disabilities in security, emergencies, and crisis. Persons with disabilities are seen as burdens. Even at internally displaced persons camps, there's no structure for disabled people in accessing food and other necessities. So it all comes down to information. Information is very important in finding a solution to persons with disabilities, vulnerability in these security crises. Government and stakeholders should consciously make the dissemination of information more inclusive of persons with disabilities. They should especially get to persons with disabilities leaders who will then inform members of their various communities. I will say, a lot still needs to be done about including persons with disabilities in the process to finding working solutions to the challenges they face. When they are left out, the problem only lingers.